Devin, you just released some research on autonomous operations here in the Middle East. What did you find?
So it was actually a validation, Kevin, of our expectation that the UAE, being an advanced economy and an economy that's looking to redefine themselves on the world stage, leading as a leading hub in automation, but autonomous operations.
Right.
It kind of supports the perception that we've had always, and that's informed largely by the fact that when you consider the capex investments that the UAE makes with respect to the leading edge technology, it's always on the leading edge of the curve, right? And so it's no surprise that there's a lot of confidence with respect to the executives that we've interviewed and surveyed, that feel very, very confident about this, their milestone and their reach towards autonomy by 2030. So majority of them, north of 50%, feel they can do this. And many of the UAE companies today, I would consider themselves at a level 3 of autonomy, which, if you juxtapose that to the other peers around the world, which are more at level 1 and 2, so they're certainly head and shoulders above the rest.
And what's driving that here?
I think it's a combination of 3 things. One is policy and ambition by the government and private sector to have a real intent to, one, lead, and secondly, to create competitiveness in the operations. The second one is around the tech stack, and we look at it from a preemptive autonomous operation where the technology has to keep up with the times and be at the bleeding edge. And looking at the investment and the capex culture of operations within the UAE, we've always kept up with the latest and the greatest. And the third one is the human capital that's got the ability to also manage and evolve with the change, often considering their relevance in this changing tide of where human and machine interfaces are becoming ubiquitous.
And if I may, what stood out for me was you're ranking this region as level 4. Is that a surprise?
No. So it's, as I said, it validates our thoughts around the sophistication of the market, and again, with a combination of the policy, the ambition, and certainly the technology, it's no surprise, but it's a very strong validation for us that United Arab Emirates would be a first hunting ground to be able to create the proof points and obviously to scale globally as we build confidence and we build experience and learnings.
And Gaurav, this is stage 1 of this research, right? Is that correct?
Indeed, it is. It's a global project that will extend all the way up to March. We'll scrutinize the various regions.
Right.
We'll try and poll all executives in the various operating regions of the world. And I think this is a good place to start, because from what we encounter or from the research that has come my way, it offers confirmation, as Devin said, that this region is sort of somewhat streets ahead compared to its peers when it comes to automation or AI. And I think that is the sort of forward curve you witness. So what a better place to start than the Middle East.
And if I may, autonomous means many things to many people. It's like AI or digital twin. When you say level 3, level 4, what standard or methodology are you using?
I think basically what we did here was approach a whole host of C-suites from different backgrounds in the region and try to ask them at what stage were they, what point of the curve in their automation journey, in the terms of adoption of AI were they. And the results were, if I may say so, not surprising, but rather offered confirmation that how far ahead they were. Now, various segmented approach was taken with GCC countries. Of course, there will be a little bit of a bias with some of the key markets, the UAEs, the Saudis, the Qatars. But yes, it offers a sort of a wider flavor of how far ahead the region is.
Well, certainly here this week at ADIPEC, autonomous operations is flavor of the month. Now, I'm a technology guy, if I may. What technology is under the cover that's enabling all of this?
I could perhaps defer to Devin on that.
Sure.
But I think I can tell you a state to it about the macroeconomics of it all. And I think, Kevin, you've been doing this for a long time. You notice that over the last 10 years, there has been a concerted push, regardless of the region, towards improved throughput. And then that's joined at the hip with sustainability targets or low carbon emissions, because they go hand in glove, regardless of the politics.
I
and
agree.
that is the key driver. And this region in particular has sort of the investment prowess, if I may say so, the strong balance sheets, strong cash reserves to really go, quite strongly into the investment space. But I defer technology to Devin.
I would say, Kevin, the underlying foundational structure for autonomy is one, to have, as I said, an advanced level of supervisory control in a plant. I would say the inflection point to move this faster and to accelerate is what we call open software-defined automation. And this is where you're decoupling the hardware from the software, and you're designing the process plant around software, which is kind of an inverse, counterintuitive system from where we started, building building automation platforms from hardware and then overlaying the software. So this is kind of inverting it, but it's the precursor to wanting to get to operations that are diagnostic, self-diagnostic, but also self-healing. And that leads you to the higher levels of autonomy, right? So the more and more that you can separate the human decision-making from plant prompts is, you're getting to a higher level of autonomy. And ultimately, that's what the executives are looking for, because again, you've got all of these parameters built into the large language models that are communicating with one another.
Yep.
And it doesn't need human intervention or discretion, which oftentimes leads to premature plant failure, catastrophic events, because you remove that aspect of it. And especially on, critical infrastructure sites like oil and gas and others, data centers included. This is a key value proposition for our customers.
No, personally, I see what's going on here with robotics, with AI, agentic, pick your flavor, physical AI, industrial AI. The technology is incredible, but it's integrating that with the workflow, with the existing systems. It's the human element, and integrating that is the technologies. I always say the technology is the easy bit.
Right.
It's putting it into production is the feature, and here in this region, they're certainly, as you say, ahead of other regions as far as I can see. If I may, just to make this a bit more concrete, is there any example you can give to folks that here's something that's happening today to show this?
So we launched, in fact, this week, a proof of concept or a pilot with ADNOC. By the way, of course, they're leading the charge with respect to AI. And in the conversations with various structures within Schneider, this has been a compelling ask from their side, where one, they've got the ambition, as I said. Two, they've got the pathway, but they need the support with respect to having the proof points along the side. So as a classical example, we're building certain platforms with respect to cognitive insights.
Okay.
And as an example, an operator today may take a decision to cancel an alarm, right, without understanding the implications of, plant wear, performance of the plant,
Gaming it all out.
Exactly, the ESG implications of stretching, for example, a motor too long and having, consequences on the decarbonization, as an example. Using the right energy sources, whether it's a renewable energy source or grid supply, all of those aspects, we're building those proof points and being able to offer them the insights, and they can obviously interact with the agent, right, to understand, if I do want to defer a decision, if I do want to cancel this alarm, can I do it for 3 times or 5 times before there's catastrophic?
What are the consequences? Right. To me, it's we talk about data, we talk about we have all the different silos, and they are there. It's kind of joining the dots and being able to give the operators that oversight, besides having to ring the right guy who might know. It is fascinating. Hey, fascinating times.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kevin.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.